Good morning once again. We're out in New Orleans East. We're hanging out at a place called The Hangout, which is kind of good. And we're talking about all the things that are happening in New Orleans East. As I said before, it's the biggest part land-wise of New Orleans. It makes up about almost 2/3 of the land size of the city of New Orleans. And we're being joined by the man who represents this area, District E, Oliver Thomas. Thank you for joining us this morning. And you were just telling me there's a lot of stuff going on here. Some of it the media gets a hold of. A lot of it goes under the radar.
A lot of it does. I mean, look at the growth that we have right now. This is really one of the most spectacular parts of New Orleans. When we lived out here, we called it like Mecca. The 27 subdivisions represent some of the highest African-American earners of any municipal district. 7,000 acres of developable business park, 9.5 miles of waterway, Bayou Sauvage, and all the permits that we've been giving out to open businesses. Those businesses are doing well. And thank you to your team in Channel 4, because it's time that we start talking about the positives of this great community.
Well, and a lot of people call this, and a lot of people who live here call this the forgotten part of the city. And there are businesses out here, I mean, big business. You look at what's happening, Michoud, Folgers, Faubourg Brewery. There's all kinds of stuff.
But it's not just those big businesses.
A lot of little businesses.
It's Hangout Nola, Patio 17 that's about to open up, Thai Nola, the case is closed, barbershop.
I'm going to highlight a restaurant.
Ito's, Orleans Brothers, Two Sisters, salads
keep on going on and on.
Salads galore, The Verdict. We have some hot spots out here that are doing well.
Verdict's really nice. I went out there, I did a story, it's going to be on later in the program. But let's talk about, there's a perception here that really does seem to drive business away. I mean, you guys are looking for...
No, it's not driving the business away. It's driving
making
people
okay, people
away.
And the fear of opening a business here. You know, we don't see, we're waiting for, you guys would love to see some big box come out here, a Target or a Walmart or something.
But they're coming because the narrative is changing, right? Barry Kern, what did he say in his article when they asked him why New Orleans East? He got the best price per square foot, and it's the only place that the city can grow. And the infrastructure is here, and the people are here. Go east, young man.
Well, and you talk about housing, there are a lot of neighborhoods around those little lakes out here, and I got a friend who bought a house out here, and he got such a bargain on that, and it's a gorgeous home.
Well, you know, let's just hope that when people realize the jewel and the Mecca that New Orleans East is, that the people who live here and who've stayed here and who fought to keep their businesses here are not pushed out and gentrified like the rest of the city. Because this area is gonna be developed. But the question is it gonna be developed with the people who live out here in mind and getting their respect? That's one of the reasons why we're having the second annual New Orleans East Festival. It was more than successful. It outpaced the first Jazz Fest when they had their first Jazz Fest.
And that's amazing.
That's absolutely correct.
And let's talk about when we used to have Lake Forest Plaza out here. You know, and you wonder why a big mall like that shopped. And a lot of times I heard from people who lived out here, they'd go into Lakeside when Lake Forest Plaza was right here.
Well, you know, one of the realities is that, you know, mall living isn't really happening anymore, especially because people are shopping online.
Yeah.
But specialty shops, retail shops, small businesses, there's a population out here that can support it. And, you know, I've never been a conspiracy theorist, but I have not understood for the life of me why social scientists, major educational institutions, major nonprofits, and businesses have neglected this community with all of its promise and all of its jewels. We just talked about a few of them. Why wouldn't someone want to be here?
Yeah, because I mean, this is the only place in the city where there's a lot of land still available. And let's talk about Goodwill coming. Goodwill's coming where the old Lowe's used to be. And there's been some controversy about that.
Yeah.
It surprised me.
Well, you know, it's not what we want. We were hoping that there would be major retail, but the one thing we do know about Goodwill acquiring that site, first of all, they had the money to buy it. They purchased it, someone else could have.
And they're a good company.
And they're a great company. Is that job training, a lot of the work they do in terms of outreach and social service, their commitment to landscape it, but also their commitment to be a partner with us to grow the rest of the parcels on that site. That building, that spot is not going to be derelict or vacant anymore. That's a positive.
And you see more of that happening in the coming days, coming years.
Well, I mean with Stephanie Chambliss and PJ's. I mean, in her business, you know, look, whoever's tried to sell the narrative about this community We're not buying it anymore. I showed you the map of crime out
Yeah.
here. New Orleans East, based on the map we just saw, is one of the safest places in the city. Stop trying to put us down, right? Stop spinning what's not true, because guess what? We're not buying it anymore anyway.
And so you're talking about not the perception, but the reality
The realities
of what's happening
of
out
it.
here.
Absolutely. Look, what's one of the best ways to take over a community or run people out of a community?
Scare
Tear
them.
it down. Make the people in the community not believe in themselves. As a little Lower Ninth Ward boy, my father always taught us to believe in yourself. Don't wait for somebody to pick yourself up. Don't wait for somebody else to tell you you have value. You got to know you have value.
Well, I know you live by that. Councilman, thank you very much.
Absolutely.